Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in for our Bhagavad Gita and Nectar of Instruction study session. We'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakhaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaudadushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Taralaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram Hari Om Tatsat Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna. So thank you all for joining in once again. We are studying Bhagavad Gita as it is. So we've completed the first 3 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita successfully. So in the first chapter, we saw how Arjuna is seeming to be a very learned man. He's talking a lot of philosophy. He's telling Krishna what he's going to do, what he will not do, etc. And Krishna is simply hearing from Arjuna. He's not speaking anything. In the second chapter, we see that guided by Lord Sri Krishna, Arjuna actually takes the chariot in between both the armies. And in this way, when he does this, when he sees the entire kinsmen, his relatives, his guru, and all of his gurus and relatives in the battlefield, he goes into a dilemma. Should I really fight this war? What use would this war be? Right? Just because I want my brother to become the king. Now, why is it that we have to fight this war? So he tells Lord Shri Krishna several reasons why he would not fight the war. He was talking about compassion. He was talking about sinful reactions that will incur because he's killing his own guru, he's killing his own great grandfather. And then finally, he actually surrenders to Krishna, right? He gives so many reasons, but he himself was not satisfied with what he was saying, right? So finally, he decided that I don't know what I'm supposed to do, what I'm not supposed to do. So in this way, I want to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he surrendered to the Lord. Sishyaste aham shati mam tvam prapannam. So he told Krishna, oh Krishna, I don't know what to do, what not to do. I am a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. And the rest of the second chapter, Krishna is actually talking to Arjuna, telling him, perform your duty. You are a Kshatriya. Whatever duty you have to perform as per your dharma. Now go ahead and perform that duty. But then Arjuna understands, but Arjuna is not very clear, because Krishna is saying, on the one hand, you should not be attached to the results of your activities. On the other hand, Krishna is saying, get up with determination and fight, and whatever result you will get, right? Even if you win the battle, you will go. Even if you win the battle, you'll become the king of all the worlds. But if you lose the battle, also you will actually attain the heavenly planets. And then Arjuna is very confused, right? On the one hand, I should not be attached to the results of what I'm doing. On the other hand, I should perform my duty. So what is it? And then again he asks Krishna, should I just giving, and then should I just go to the forest and then live my life by begging, right? And then again Krishna tells Arjuna at the end of the second chapter, get up with determination and fight, O Arjuna. You are a Kshatriya and it is your duty to actually fight. So in this way Krishna instructs Arjuna to fight. But then what happens? Krishna ends the chapter, right? First he gives Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then he goes on to give Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, or action to be performed in consciousness of me. Get up and fight for my sake, right? Don't be attached to the results, all that. And soul and body, the Gyan and all that. At the end of the second chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna that fight the war for my sake, and in this way you will go back home, back to Godhead. Fantastic, isn't it? So the entire Bhagavad Gita is completed by the second chapter. But then again Arjuna is confused. Why? Arjuna is confused because he is talking for all of us. He was asking Krishna, on the one hand, you are telling me I should not fight. I mean, on the one hand, you are telling me I should do my duty but not be attached to the results. On the other hand, you are asking me to fight. But if I fight, I will be fighting for results, that I'll become the king. But then Krishna explains Karma Yoga, right? Perform your duty, do not be attached to your results. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbur mate sango swakarmani, right? So in this way, give up the results of your activities, and that is not complete. And then what do you have to do? You have to actually surrender the results of your activities to me. Later on, Krishna will explain very, very in clear terms. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja, right? So a seed of that is actually given in the third chapter. But then Krishna is telling Arjuna, work with knowledge. And in this way, if you work with proper knowledge and perform your duty, you will come back to me. And then Arjuna is asking, what is transcendental knowledge, right? And then in the fourth chapter that we're reading currently, Krishna is giving what is called the transcendental knowledge, right? We saw the first 4 verses, how Krishna is explaining that this transcendental knowledge was given in a bona fide disciplic succession from Krishna himself directly. Initially, it was given to the sun god Vivaswan. Vivaswan gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. And in this way, the transcendental knowledge is always received in a disciplic succession. So in this way, Krishna tells Arjuna, but then Arjuna is confused, right? Krishna also tells, Evam parampara praptim nimam rajarsho vidhu sakala neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. Why am I giving you the knowledge now? Because with passage of time, this knowledge has got destroyed. The continuity has got lost. Hence, I'm giving this knowledge again to you. But Arjuna is saying, oh Krishna, you and I are of the same age. How do I believe that you have given this knowledge to Vivaswan? Like that, when Arjuna asks, then Krishna says, you and I have taken many births, right? But then I remember all of it and you don't remember. Why? Because even the pure devotees of the Lord ultimately are under the mercy of the Lord. Whatever Krishna wants us to remember, that only we will remember. We cannot claim to be independent of Krishna and know a lot of things. No, right? So we are always dependent on the Lord as part and parcel of the Lord. That's why Krishna says, Natva evaham jato nasham natvam neve janadipa. Na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayam Ataha param. Right? That means what? I know the past, I know the present, and I know the future. But then, oh Arjuna, you have been with me every time I take an incarnation. You have come with me, but then you don't remember all of the previous lives, but I do remember. And then in 4.7, Krishna gives the reason for his appearance. He says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Right? So two purposes to be fulfilled. What is that? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya. So whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or there is an increase of irreligion, that time I will srijamyaham. That means I will incarnate in this earth. Like that he talks about. In that purport, Prabhupada actually talks about various reasons why the Lord incarnates, right? Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Sri Rama, Balarama, and then the full avatar of Krishna, and then Buddha and Kalki, all of those avatars, they all take incarnations to satisfy certain purposes. And Prabhupada goes on to explain about the Buddha incarnation. It was predominantly to make the people give up unrestricted sense enjoyment in the name of the Shastras. They quoted Shastras and they started killing animals. So to propagate non-violence, Buddha's incarnation was there. That's why we don't accept Buddha as a full incarnation of Krishna, right? Certain incarnations are full, certain incarnations are just to satisfy certain purpose, right? Full incarnations we can say are Rama, right? Where he is a Purna Purushottam Bhagavan, right? He actually in his entire pastime he told or he demonstrated by his example how to live life in this material world, right? And then as Krishna, he's Leela Purushottam, right? That means all of his Leelas were so wonderful that it captured the attention, it captured the attraction of all the living entities. That is the primary purpose, right? When the Lord arrives in this material world, he wants us to get attracted to his Leela. And in this way, he wants us to give up our attraction for the illusory nature of Maya and ultimately go back home, back to Godhead, right? So with this in view, let us go ahead with the next verse, which also talks about, which is a very important verse. It's also talking about why Lord Krishna incarnated. 4.7 and 4.8 are the verses, are the reasons that Krishna himself says, why do I incarnate? And in 4.9, he tells, if you are intelligent, you will understand that my appearance and activities are transcendental. And in this way, you will cross over the ocean of material existence. But if you are foolish, Mahatmanas to Mam Partha, दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रितः, right? बहुनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेव सर्वमिति स महात्मासु durlabha. Like this, Krishna tells that those who are intelligent, they will understand my transcendental nature and worship me with all their hearts. The rest of them, they will deride me, right? Fools only deride me, like that it was. All right, so let's move ahead. 4.8, let me share my screen. Devotees can raise your hands. And then let's go ahead with 4.8 of Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, I can see Monimala Mataji. Go ahead, Mataji. 4.8. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Not audible. I was thinking एक दिन के बाद गैप में अभी शुरुआत ही कैसा हो रहा है. Thank you. Go ahead.
हरि बोल माताजी.
Yes.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतानां धर्मो संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. परित्राणाय for the deliverance, sadhunam of the devotees, vinashaya for the annihilation, cha also duskritam of the miscreants, dharma principles of religion, samsthapana arthaya to re-establish, sambhavami I do appear, yuge millennium, yuge after millennium, in order to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I advent myself millennium after millennium. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to Bhagavad Gita, a sadhu, holy man, is a man in Krishna consciousness. A person may appear to be religious, but if he has the qualifications of Krishna consciousness, wholly and fully, he is to be understood to be a sadhu. and Duskritam applies to one who does not care for Krishna consciousness. Such miscreants of Duskritam are described as foolish and the lowest of mankind, even though they are decorated with mundane education, whereas another person who is 100% engaged in Krishna consciousness is accepted as sadhu, even though such a person may neither be learned nor well cultured. As far as the atheistic are concerned, it is not necessary for the Supreme Lord to appear as he is to destroy them, as he did with the demons Ravana and Kamsa. The Lord has many agents who are quite competent to vanquish demons, but the Lord especially descends to appease his unalloyed devotees who are always harassed by the demonic. The demon harasses the devotee even though the latter may happen to be his kin. Although Prahlad Maharaja was the son of Hiranyakashipu, he was nonetheless persecuted by his father. Although Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was the sister of Kamsa, she and her husband Vasudeva were persecuted only because Krishna was to be born of them. So Lord Krishna appeared primarily to deliver Devaki rather than kill Kamsa. But both were performed simultaneously. Therefore, it is said that to deliver the devotee and vanquish the demon miscreants, the Lord appears in different incarnations. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishnadasa Kaviraja, the following verses summarize these principles of incarnation. सृष्टि हेतु ये मूर्ति प्रपंचते अवतारे से ईश्वरा मूर्ति अवतारा नाम धरे माया
विश्वे अवतारी धरे अवतार नामा.
The avatara or incarnation of Godhead descends from the kingdom of God for material manifestation, and the particular form of the personality of Godhead who so descends is called an incarnation or avatara. Such incarnations are situated in the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. When they descend to the material creation, they assume the name avatara. There are various kinds of avatars such as Purusha Bharatas, Guna Bhataras, Leela Bhataras, Satya Bhataras, Manavatara Avataras and Jugavataras, all appearing on schedule all over the universe. But Lord Krishna is the primary Lord, the fountainhead of all avatars. Lord Sri Krishna descends for the specific purposes of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotees who are very anxious to see him in his original Varnavana pastimes. Vrindavana pastimes. Therefore, the prime purpose of Krishna Avatara is to satisfy his unalloyed devotees. The Lord
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Get a lot. Hari Bol. Dandavats. So quickly, we will just summarize 3 important points in the 3 paragraphs that Prabhupada is telling us, right? One is Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkritam Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. The Lord appears millennium after millennium. So why does he appear millennium after millennium? To attract us back home, back to Godhead. That is reason number 1. And even within those 2 reasons, which reason is more important? That's what Prabhupada mentions in this paragraph, that when Prahlad Maharaj, right, Hiranyakashipu actually was so angry, right? Hiranyakashipu was not believing that the Lord is there. He was troubling Prahlad so much. And Prahlad was, was not getting killed because he used to not even protect himself. Whether he was thrown off the cliff or he's put in a basket of snakes, or he's put into the fire, the lap of Holika and fire was set, right? All the times he escaped unscathed, although he did not make any endeavor to protect himself, right? Because he was smaranam. He's an embodiment of smaranam of the Lord. He remembered the Lord at all times and no one could cause any damage to him. And Hiranyakashipu was so frustrated. He was thinking, where are you getting all these powers from? And then Prahlad Maharaj is very cool and composed and he says, now, wherever you are getting the power to attack me, I am also getting the power to defend myself from the same Supreme Lord. And then he gets very frustrated. He asks, where is your Lord who is giving you so much power? Is he there in this pillar? And then Prahlad Maharaj says, yes, he is there everywhere. And in this way, he breaks open the pillar, and then Narsingadev in his gigantic form, which is very, very ferocious, he comes with those sharp nails and all, he comes out, right? The Acharyas explain that it is not to satisfy Hiranyakashipu that Narsingadev appeared from the pillar, right? Hiranyakashipu has been wanting to see the Lord for so long, right? But he could not see the Lord because he did not have the Shraddha, he was not favorably inclined in serving the Lord, right? So the Lord appeared not for Hiranyakashipu but for Prahlad Maharaj, because Prahlad Maharaj simply casually said, he didn't even say that the Lord is in this pillar, in this particular pillar. No, he just said, the Lord is everywhere. And then, by Hiranyakashipu was asking specifically, is he there in this pillar? He said, of course, he's there everywhere, right? In Tamil we say, Thunilum irpar, Thurumbilum irpar, like that, right? He's there in every dust particle, he's there in every pillar, right? So that's what he tells. And then Hiranyakashipu was so frustrated. What did he do? He broke open the pillar and out came Narsingadev. So to satisfy Prahlad Maharaj only, Narsingadev appeared, and not to prove himself to Hiranyakashipu, right? Prabhupada tells in one of the lectures, the Lord is not your servant. That you say, oh, the Lord is there, you come and show yourself to me, only then I will believe you, right? The Lord is not your servant, he will not come. And if you don't want to believe there is no God, there is no loss for God, but there is a complete loss only for you, like that Prabhupada says. Right? That's why the word Duskritam. Duskritam means people who hear about Krishna also. Unfortunately for them, Duskritam means very, very miscreants or unfortunate people. Right? Although they hear, they are foolish and they cannot comprehend. The Lord can be everywhere. The Lord can get whatever He wants done through all of the people. Yet the Lord does not want to interfere with the free will of the devotees. I mean, free will of any jiva for that matter. Right? It's not understood. So when the Lord does not interfere with their free will, they think they are completely independent. And in that ignorance, they perform so many activities that binds them in this Kala Chakra, the Janma, Mrityu, Jara and Vyadhi. And then Prabhupada goes on to talk about Purushavatar, Gunavatar, Leelavatar, Shaktivesh Avatar, Manvantar Avatar and Yuga Avatar, right? In all these various schedules, Krishna keeps appearing. Right? Sometimes as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, sometimes as Lord Ram, sometimes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes as Prabhupada, the Shaktivesh Avatar. Prabhupada is also called Buddha. Buddha is also the Shaktivesh Avatar of the Lord. Right? To fulfill a certain mission, Narada Muni is also the Shaktivesh Avatar of the Lord. Right? Because the Lord wants to give bhakti through Narada Muni. So Narada Muni is empowered with the bhakti shakti to preach and give the bhakti shakti to others. And that's what Narada Muni gave to Prahlad Maharaj, to Dhruv Maharaj, to Mrigari the hunter, to Ratnakar, how many people, whatever mode one is in, if one got the association of Narada Muni, they got bhakti, right? Because he is the Shaktivesh Avatar of the Lord. And then Manvantra Avatars, and then Yuga Avatar. Yuga Avatar means for that particular Yuga, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Yuga Avatar for the age of Kali, right? Because he comes to propagate Yuga Dharma of Harinama Sankirtan. Like this, the Lord comes in various incarnations to satisfy various purposes. But the one main reason that the Lord appears is to satisfy His devotees, to fulfill the word of His devotees. That's why He says, Kaunteya pratijanihi nami bhaktya pranashyati. Right? He does not say that of course, Krishna is compared to the sun. Right? Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Hai Andhakar. The sun does not distinguish, oh, I will give sunlight only in this place. I will not give sunlight here, right? Of course, if we are, like Prabhupada says in a lecture, if we lock ourselves in a dark room, switch off all the lights and go under the cot and sit down, we prefer to be in Tamoguna. Of course, we can be in darkness. Krishna is not going to force us to come to sunlight. But Krishna's sunlight is available for everybody who's willing to absorb or take that sunlight. Similarly, the Lord's mercy is everywhere. But yet, the Lord is a person, right? The Lord is a person, and hence, He reciprocates with His devotees. Prabhupada gives an example, how if somebody serves us so nicely, we also want to reciprocate with that somebody. We cannot treat that person equal to another person who causes harm to us, right? And the Lord is a supreme person. So it is very natural. The Lord will want to fulfill all the desires of His devotees. He is equal to all, that is also true. And He is especially inclined to His devotees, that is also true. That is why it is said, it is inconceivable to understand the Lord and the Lord's mercy. Right? Because with our tiny material brain, we cannot understand how the Lord is equal. At the same time, how is the Lord partial? But yes, the Lord is equal and the Lord is partial. Okay? That is the inconceivable nature of the Lord. All right. Last paragraph. Monimala Mataji, are you able to unmute yourself, or will ask Sridhar Prabhu? Okay, Sridhar Prabhu, go ahead. The Lord says,
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam.
The Lord says that He incarnated Himself in every millennium. This indicates that He incarnate also in the age of Kali. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the incarnation in the age of Kali is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who spread the worship of Krishna by Sankirtan movement. The Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy name, the spread of Krishna consciousness throughout India. He predicted that the culture of Sankirtan would be broadcast all over the world, from town to town and village to village. Lord Chaitanya, as the incarnation of Krishna and the personality of Godhead, is described secretly but not directly in the confidential parts of the revealed scriptures, such as Upanishad, Mahabharata, and Bhagavatam. The devotees of Lord Krishna are very much attracted by the Sankirtana movement of Lord Chaitanya. This avatara of Lord does not kill the miscreants, by delivers them by cashless mercy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. You can continue the reading the next verse, but I just want to talk about it. This is the most appropriate time to talk about it, right? Today is 5th of March. In another 20 days, we are having the most auspicious appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance is described by Prabhupada in this verse. Very wonderful, very auspicious, right? Bringing up the mood of how we need to prepare our consciousness for the appearance of Yuga Avatar of Kali Yuga, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna Varnam, Tusha Krishnam, Sango Pangastra Parshadam, Yajnair Sankirtana Prayer, Yajanti Hisu Medasaha. Only the most intelligent people, Medasaha, right? Those people only will be able to understand that Krishna has incarnated as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is non-different from Lord Krishna himself, right? Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Radha and Krishna, and he is incarnated to give bhakti in every town and village, right? Nagaradi grama sarvatra hoive prachar mora nama. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in every town and village, my name will be preached to, right? And so if we want, if for our own purification, we can contribute towards this, propaganda of preaching Krishna consciousness, right? Either we can be part of it, we can be part of history, or we can, we can be sidelined, right? It said the next 10,000 years is the golden period, right? Wherein the Krishna consciousness movement will flourish so much. It's already predicted in the Shastra, so it will flourish. But for our own purification, for our own purification and our own benefit, if we can contribute in this mission, then it is to our advantage, isn't it? So that is what is mentioned here. And finally, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Channa Avatar. Channa Avatar means he does not declare himself to be the Lord, right? Whenever he used to perform pastime similar to Krishna, right? He used to also steal butter. He also used to, cry, and everybody around the entire Navadvip, they used to come and chant Hari Bol, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Immediately used to stop crying, and then he told that in this house, right, 7th day after tomorrow is Ekadashi, right? He also demonstrated the importance of following Ekadashi Vrata. He said in Jagadisha and Hiranya's house, there is wonderful Ekadashi feast that is offered to Krishna, and I want that prasadam. In this way, he taught his parents, he taught everybody the importance of Ekadashi Vrata, like this. So Krishna also gave a lot of instructions, taught a lot of things, essential truths that we need to practice in our life. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, also being non-different from Krishna, also gave us a lot of instructions that if we practice in our life, like the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, engaging in Harinama Sankirtan, right, doing all of this, then we can perfect our lives in a very, very simple way. Right? So we have also opened a new group wherein we're going to celebrate from Ekadashi until 25th, which means 18 days, 7th to 25th. We'll try to study at least 7 to 25, which means we're on 18 days. We'll try to study at least 8 to 9 verses, maybe 2 days, 1 verse like that, or 3 days we'll study 1 verse or like that, because it's difficult to by heart also. Some verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita giving the purpose of Lord Chaitanya's incarnation, giving the glory of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna combined, Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunayavatirana Kalo Samitam, all those verses we will study by heart, right? Because those are our hatyars, those are our weapons, so that we can inspire ourselves and others to practice Krishna consciousness. Very beautiful verse. Very beautiful purport given by Prabhupada, 4.8. We should mark these verses and study the purports. All right. Let's move ahead. Sridhar Prabhu, go ahead. Janma karma cha me divyam. Yes.
Janma karma cha me divyamevam yo vedi tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naidimamedi cha arjuna. Janma, birth, karma, work, cha, also, me, of mine, divyam, transcendental, evam, like this, yeah, anyone who, vedi, knows, tatvat, in reality, tyaktva, leaving aside, deham, this body, punaha, again, janma, birth, never, eti, does attain, mom, unto me, eti, does attain, sa, he, Arjuna, O Arjuna, Hare Krishna, that was Pranam. Translation. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attain my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Purport, Hare Krishna. The Lord descent from his transcendental abode is already explained in the 6th verse. One who can understand the truth of appearance of the personality of Godhead is already liberated from the material bondage, and therefore he returns to the kingdom of God immediately after putting this present material body. Such liberation of living entity from material bondage is not at the easy. The impersonalities and the yogis attain liberation only after much trouble and many births. Even then, the liberation they achieve merging into impersonal Brahmajyoti of the Lord is only partial, and there is a risk of returning to the material world. But the devotee, simply by understand the transcendental nature of the body and activities of the Lord, attain the abode of Lord after ending this body and does not return the risk of returning to the material world. In Brahma Samhita 5.33, it is stated that Lord has many forms and incarnation. Advaitam Achyutam Anantam Ananta Rupam. Although there are many transcendental forms of Lord, there are still one and same Supreme Personality of Godhead. One has to understand this fact with conviction, although it is incomparable to mundane scholar and empiric philosophers, as stated in the Vedas. Purusha Bodhini Upanishad, Eko Devo Nityasi Chanurakta Bhakta Vyapi Hridayantaratma. The one Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternally engaged in many transcendental forms in relationship with his unallied devotees. The Vedic version is confirmed in the verse of Gita, personally by Lord. He who accepts the truth of strength of the authority of the Vedas and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one who does not waste time in philosophical speculation, attain the highest perfectional stage of liberation. Simply by accepting this truth on faith, one can, without a doubt, attain liberation. The Vedic version, Tattvam, as Tattvamasi, is actually applied in this case. Anyone who understands Lord Krishna to be the Supreme, or who says unto the Lord, you are the same Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, is certainly liberated instantly, and consequently his entrance into the transcendental association of the Lord guaranteed. In other words, such a faithful devotee of the Lord attained perfection, and this is confirmed by the following Vedic assertion. Tameva viditva mrityameti nanya bandha vidyate ayanaya. One can attain the perfect stage of liberation from birth and death simply by knowing the Lord, the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, and there is no other way to achieve this perfection. 8 minutes, Mataji. Swatantrava Upanishad 3.8 that there is no alternative means that anyone who does not understand Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is surely in the mode of ignorance, and consequently he will not attain salvation. Simply, so to speak, by licking the outer surface of the bottle of honey, or by interpreting the Bhagavad Gita according to Munde's scholarship. Such empiric philosophers may assume very important roles in the material world, but they are not necessarily eligible for liberation. Such puffed up mundane scholars have to wait for costless mercy of the devotee of the Lord. One should not therefore cultivate Krishna consciousness with faith and knowledge, and in this way attain perfection. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Okay, very nice, isn't it? We just simply, what do we need to have? We simply need to have faith. We invest faith and then we engage in activities of devotional service, then automatically we will advance. But then why are we studying this chapter now? We all believe that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Patantita Tattva Vidas Tattvam Yajnanavadvayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabjate. Yes, Krishna is the source of Brahman, Krishna is the source of Paramatma, and Krishna in his full form as Bhagavan is the highest. Right? We all know it. Then why are we studying Bhagavad Gita? Why are we doing knowledge? Right? This transcendental knowledge is going to help us in advance in bhakti. It is going to help us have the right consciousness when we are doing bhakti. Right? We are only interested in this knowledge. We are not interested in other knowledge which makes us proud. Right? That's why we don't focus so much on by-hearting the shlokas as much as we focus on studying and understanding the translation and purport given by Srila Prabhupada and implementing in our life. That is more important than simply by-hearting the shlokas. But the shlokas themselves have a great potency. Why? Because they've been spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself. So simply for children, right, who cannot understand this, the entire subject matter, right, for children who are, say, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, at, Kaumaram Acharet Prajna, right, that time we cannot teach them all this philosophy, right, you're not this body, you're the soul, you should not do this, you should not do. Instead of that, what do? Children, we just teach them nice shlokas. Bhagavad Gita shlokas, Bhagavatam shlokas. Simply by memorizing these shlokas, what happens? Their consciousness gets purified. Because Krishna's words are non-different from Lord Krishna. Right? Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purnashuddho Nityamukto, Abhinnatva, Nama Namino. The Lord, his Nama, Rupa, his Guna, Leela, his words, whatever he spoken, and whatever verses are composed in glorification of the Lord, they're all as good as the Lord because they're composed by the devotees with so much love and affection for the Lord. So one should acquire such knowledge because such knowledge enables one to advance in bhakti. Such knowledge does not make us ahankaris, right? I was hearing one beautiful lecture. What was that? Very beautiful. Jnana, right? Jnana means knowledge, right? When we get ahankara after getting jnana, ahankara plus jnana is equal to ajnana. Ajnana visena om ajnana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshuru unmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namah. Ajnana means ignorance. If we get jnana, how can we have ajnana? Right? They're contradicting, isn't it? We don't understand. But then, if jnana is contributing to our ahankar, such ahankar plus jnana combination leads to ajnana because we will not know how to apply that knowledge because we are thinking we are the doers. At the same time, vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni cheva shwapakecha pandita samadarshinaha. Vinaya means humility. When knowledge is there along with humility, that vinaya plus jnana becomes vijnana. That vijnana is wisdom. How do we apply that knowledge in our day-to-day life? Right? So when jnana is together with ahankara, it becomes ajnana, useless, waste. Having such knowledge is of no use. But vinaya, humility and knowledge combination, it's very wonderful. It becomes vijnana. Then it does not remain knowledge in the head. It becomes wisdom. It becomes knowledge in practice. Right? That is why it is always necessary to develop vinaya. Vinaya means humility. When we receive real transcendental knowledge from a bona fide spiritual master, then automatically vidya vinaya sampanne, and then we will be able to see everybody as parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right, let's move ahead. Very nice words. Okay, 4.10. Who will read? Sindhu Mataji, go ahead. Sindhu Mataji, are you there?
Yes, Mataji, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hari Krishna. Yes.
4.10 वीतरागभया क्रोधा मन्मया मामुपाश्रिताः बहवो ज्ञानतपसा भूतमद्भावमागताः. Vita, freed from raga, attachment, bhaya, fear, krodha, and anger, mat maya, fully in me, mam, in me, upashritaha, being fully situated, bahavaha, many, jnana, of knowledge, tapasa, by the penance, Bhutaha, being purified, Mad Bhavam, transcendental love for me, Agataha, attained. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. Purport. As described above, it is very difficult for a person who is too materially affected to understand the personal nature of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Generally, people who are attached to the bodily conception of life are so absorbed in materialism that it is almost impossible for them to understand how the Supreme can be a person. Such materialists cannot even imagine that there is a transcendental body which is imperishable, full of knowledge, and eternally blissful. The materialistic concept, the body is perishable, full of ignorance, and completely miserable. Therefore, people in general keep the same bodily idea in mind when they are informed of the personal form of the Lord. For such materialistic men, the form of the gigantic material manifestation is supreme. Consequently, they consider the Supreme to be impersonal. And because they are too materially absorbed, the conception of retaining the personality after liberation from matter frightens them. When they are informed that spiritual life is also individual and personal, they became afraid of becoming persons again, and so they naturally prefer a kind of merging into the impersonal void. Generally, they compare the living entities to the bubbles of the ocean, which merge into the ocean. That is the highest perfection of spiritual existence, attainable without individual personality. This is a kind of fearful stage of life devoid of perfect knowledge of spiritual existence. Furthermore, there are many persons who cannot understand spiritual existence at all. Being embarrassed by so many theories and by contradictions of various types of philosophical speculation, they become disgusted or angry and foolishly conclude that there is no supreme cause and that everything is ultimately void. Such people are in a diseased condition of life. Some people are too materially attached and therefore do not give attention to spiritual life. Some of them want to merge into the supreme spiritual cause, and some of them disbelieve in everything, being angry at all sorts of spiritual speculation out of hopelessness. This last class of men take to the shelter of some kind of intoxication, and their affective hallucinations are sometimes accepted as spiritual vision. One has to get rid of all three stages of attachment to the material world: negligence of spiritual life, fear of a spiritual personal identity, and the conception of void that arises from frustration and pride. To get free from these three stages of the material concept of life, one has to take complete shelter of the Lord, guided by the bona fide spiritual master, and follow the disciplines and regulative principles of devotional life. The last stage of the devotional life is called bhava, or transcendental love of God. According to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.4.15-16, the signs of devotional service.
तथा साधु संगो तव जन क्रिया ततो अनर्थ निवृत्ति स्यात् ततो निष्ठा ऋषि सतः अत शक्ति सतो भाग तथा प्रेमाभ्युदञ्चति साधकानामयं प्रेम्णः प्रादुर्भावे भवेत् क्रमः.
In the beginning, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. This will bring one to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. In the next stage, one becomes initiated by an elevated spiritual master, and under his instructions, the neophyte devotee begins the process of devotional service. By execution of devotional service, under the guidance of a spiritual master, one becomes free from all material attachment, attains steadiness and self-realization, and acquires a taste for hearing about the absolute personality of God, Shri Krishna. This stage leads one further forward to attachment to Krishna consciousness, which is matured in bhava, or the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God. Real love for God is called prema, the highest perfection stage of life. The prema stage, there is constant engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So, by the slow process of devotional service, under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, one can attain the highest stage, being free from all material attachment, from the fearfulness of one's individual spiritual personality, and from the frustrations that result in void philosophy. Then one can ultimately attain to the abode of the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, very, very wonderful verse. Actually, it gives the entire, 9 stages of bhakti, right? One starts from Shraddha. Only when somebody has faith, then they come into the association of devotees, right? All of you all have some faith that, okay, there is somebody called Krishna, but he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's not just some other, ordinary person. And that's why we're all attending this class, right? If Krishna and Arjuna were just two people who are talking, in a battlefield, why are so many people interested to know what two people spoke in the battlefield? They're interested to know because Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and whatever the Lord speaks is for our benefit. If we understand and implement in our life, that can help us perfect our lives. That's why we are hearing Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, you're not interested in anybody's conversation or anybody's opinion. You're only interested in Krishna's conversations about Krishna by the devotees and Krishna's opinion, what is important in our life, isn't it? So, Shraddha, we have that faith. That's why what we are currently doing is Sadhu Sangha. In the association of devotees, we are studying Krishna's words, right? So, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha. And then what is this? What we are hearing about Krishna? This is devotional service. This is called Bhajana Kriya. And as we continue to do Bhajana Kriya, what happens? Anartha Nivritti. That means Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, which is accumulated in our heart, because of which we are in this material world. They automatically, slowly tend to dissolve. And in place of lust, anger, greed, pride, and illusion, love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, deepened faith, strong faith, which is called Nishtha, arises in the heart of the devotee. At that stage of Nishtha, whatever happens, whether it is devil or deep sea, doesn't matter. Whether I'm put in a happy condition or whether I'm put in a sad condition, or whether I'm suffering or whether I'm happy, doesn't matter. I will continue to do my devotional service, whether it's chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, whether it is deity seva, whether it is Bhoga seva, right? Whatever, offering of Bhoga to the Lord, whatever may be my seva, I have this strong nishtha that whatever may happen, I'm going to do devotional service. And in that stage of strong faith, when we perform devotional service, then only we will get taste, right? How will we get taste? Because Krishna is pleased. Oh, this person is so determined, right? Yashoda Maya was so determined to bind Krishna, and Krishna got merciful and he allowed himself to be bound. Similarly, when one engages in devotional service with so much determination, then Krishna will give us taste, ruchi. And then when that ruchi comes, we become so attached to devotional service to Krishna, that ashakti, then bhava, then we will experience love for God, right? When we love somebody and we know that that person has got pleased, then we also feel blissful. Oh, I've pleased this person, isn't it? And finally, the highest level of love of God is prema, right? Krishna prema, right? Anybody wants to attain Krishna prema, what we should do? We should simply chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and avoid all offenses to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And in this way, we can go back home, back to Godhead. So, in this way, one gets away from 3 stages, Prabhupada mentions, very, very important. One is, either I'm attached to Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, right? I want this, I want liberation, I want wealth, I want a job, I want money, I want a happy life. That is how it all starts, right? And then 4 kinds of people. Chaturveda Bhajante Mam, Jana Sukritun Arjuna, Artho, Artharthi, Jajnasu, Jnani. Right? We have somehow or the other, we've approached Krishna, right? Whether we want money or wealth or, a nice husband or a nice wife or a big house or whatever we wanted. Finally, we've approached Krishna, right? So because of that Sukriti, we have somehow got attached to Krishna a little bit. But then when we follow Shraddha to Prema, that all those in that sequence, we will get purified of our material desires. That's how. The first one is lost, which is attachment to material life. Second one is fear of a spiritual personal identity. Why? Because I'm getting headache, I'm getting, mouth ulcers, I'm getting, my tooth is becoming rotten, it's becoming black, I'm going to the dentist, I have to get my tooth removed, I'm becoming, my hands and legs are feeling numb. When I sit for some time, I cannot get up and walk. All these problems are there, right? That's why we think body means pain. I don't want this body. I don't want this body. I want to merge with the Lord. Prabhupada calls it the last snare of Maya is that we want to merge with the Lord's effulgence. But merging with the Lord's effulgence definitely will help us get over misery, but it will not give us bliss. Right? We will not have a head pain, a headache, and stomach ache, and tooth pain and numbness. But we will also not be happy. We will just be, in the state of shanti, 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 like that. How long? After the time we'll go to sleep. When we wake up, we don't know what we've done, and then we want to engage in some activity, and then we get passionate, right? When we get passionate, we want to achieve results, and then again fall down into the cycle of birth, death, disease, and old age, because then we want to achieve certain things, because that is what is there in our mind. Oh, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, right? But how do we conquer this fear of personal identity, not having a body, understanding that when I perfect my life, when I go and serve the Lord, I will have a spiritual body, which will anyway not have all those pains, right? Because this body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. Now it's made up of chemicals. It is jada, right? That is why I'm having all this pain. But when I resume my spiritual form and engage in the service of the Lord, I will definitely maintain my personal identity, right? But then when I serve the Lord, I will attain eternal bliss. And then finally, what is the last snare? Everything is void, right? Because I'm not getting any happiness in this world. There is no happiness. This world itself is temporary. This world is false. Nothing is true, right? Whatever happens is like a big bang theory. Something came together and then something got created and everything will get annihilated one day. There is no power. That is the greatest foolishness, right? When every art, somebody is painted, the painting is so beautiful, right? We always ask, who's the artist? Who painted this? When that is the case, even the material things, we have a creator for every created thing. How is it that we are saying that the spiritual world, this material world where so many planets are moving, the sun is appearing in the morning suddenly, the moon is appearing in the evening suddenly, everything is working perfectly well, and we are thinking, oh, somehow aisa hi hota hai, right? Just happens on its own. Then we are extremely foolish, right? So we get over all these three stages of material consciousness, which means attachment to material life, fear of a spiritual personal identity, and the conception of void, because we are frustrated in life so much that we think nothing is there, right? All of these things we will transcend all these three things if we are hearing the glories of the Lord, practicing devotional service in the association of devotees. Hare Krishna. So with this, we come to the end of our Bhagavad Gita session for today. We will continue with verse number 11 tomorrow. Verse number 11 is very, very wonderful. Right? We can talk a lot, but how much of devotional service are we actually doing? To that extent, Krishna will reveal himself to us. Right? That we will continue tomorrow. Now, Granth-Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. So now we are on Nectar of Instruction, verse number 6. Right? I want to finish NOI 11 verses, and then we will start the next book, which is Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is appearing. And although we are not qualified to directly jump into Chaitanya Charitamrita or Chaitanya Bhagavat, which has got the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I was thinking, we are not so qualified. It's a postgraduate study, but we can definitely study teachings of Lord Chaitanya, because we want to know what are the teachings of Mahaprabhu so that we can implement that in our life. So we'll quickly do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 NOI. We'll try to complete. Maybe we'll have on Saturdays also. Let's see how it works. And then, we will jump into teachings of Lord Chaitanya. For the pleasure of Mahaprabhu, we will study his teachings. What are the teachings he gave to Rupa Goswami? What are the teachings he gave to Sanatana Goswami? How much of that we can implement in our life? Is it applicable now? Right? Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this instruction just 500 years ago. So it's for the people of Kali, specifically for us, formula. Right? So we will start with that. All right. So let's quickly move on to Nectar of Instruction. So I'm not going to recap. I think we've done a lot of recaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, we know what it is all about. And then NOI 5, we spoke about we spoke about how the three different levels of Vaishnavas, Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. And we also read about the characteristics of the devotees. And in the 6th verse, Drishtai Svabhavajanitay Vapushascha Doshet Na Prakritattvamiha Bhakta Janasya Pashet Ganga Vasamna Kalu Budbudafena Pankhe Brahmadravatvam apagacchati niradharmaihi. Right? We saw in this particular verse how we should not see a devotee from an external perspective. From his external body, we should not judge devotee, right? Just like Ganges is filled with mud and foam and dirt during the rainy season. But yet Ganges is so pure. We take bath in the Ganges at all times without considering, whether it is looking dirty or whether there is foam or mud or whatever. Right? Similarly, a devotee may be born in a low family, may not be educated, may have a bad complexion, may be diseased, may have an infirm body, may be dark complexion, whatever may be, whatever we think, a person should look like. Despite all of these seeming defects, a devotee's body cannot be polluted. That's what we saw. Because the devotee is always engaged in the service of the Lord, and he has no time to even look after his own self, right? But there is also another thing. In our sadhaka stage, you should not try to be Paramahamsa. I'll not take care of my body. I'm going to do 24 hours chanting. And then Prabhupada said, even if you are counting, then it will not yield the desired success, because we are not armchair philosophers. We are not selfish. We just don't want to perfect our lives. We want to engage in devotional service, and we want to preach this message of Krishna consciousness. That's why Prabhupada brought it from 64 rounds to 16 rounds. Prabhupada said you do 16 rounds properly, and then you go out for book distribution, go out on Harinam Sankirtan, like that, right? But what we do, we only chant 16 rounds. Abhi hamara 16th mala khatam ho gaya to, yay! My activity for the day is complete. Abhi feedback ko nahi dekh raha pura din, right? That is why we are so excited, right? But we are excited for the wrong reason, right? Devotees, Rupa Goswami is saying, I want millions and millions of mouths and ears to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He is so excited, he can want to chant more and more. We are very excited. Hamara 16 rounds to khatam ho gaya, right? That we know how elevated we are, right, in our Krishna consciousness. Right? So when we chant more and more and more for the pleasure of the Lord, at the same time, we should avoid hati mata aprad. We should avoid offenses to devotees, right? Because when we are talking about the external appearance of a devotee, oh, he is dark, oh, he is filled with anarthas, oh, he eats a lot, oh, he eats 4 chapatis, whatever nonsensical things that cross our mind, right? If we cut it, nip it in the bud in the mind itself, in Kali Yuga, we are not penalized for whatever thoughts we get, right? Because that time only we should nip it in the bud. We have got so much of knowledge, right? So we should nip it in the bud and not prolong such thoughts. If we contemplate on that, next step is action. And when we action such, or action means what? Talk about it also. When we talk about all these things about devotees, then what happens? Our Bhakti Lata, which is just fledgling, little bit it is growing. And then we have all these weeds because of anarthas growing very, very ferociously. And then what happens? The weeds start growing, and the Bhakti Lata is, it dies its own death. So in this way, we should not be, we should be very careful. We should not be lethargic in our devotional service. As much enthusiastic as we are to continue our minimum 16 rounds, we should also be enthusiastic and ensure that we don't commit Vaishnava aparad. So we are on the last paragraph of NOI 6. Let's quickly read that, and then we'll also try to see where we can start a little bit of NOI 7 to us. Okay, who will read? Nagaveni Mataji. Yes, I hope you got your book. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hey, Haribol. Yes, go ahead. When one thus criticizes a pure devotee.
I didn't get that book, Mataji, with big letters. All I saw was very small ones.
Okay, okay, like fine. So are you able to see the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Please go ahead.
Can you please increase little font, Mataji?
Mataji,
it is set already.
It is 150% already, Mataji. Okay, please read.
Okay. From here, no, thoda sa niche.
Yeah, you can open the database in your mobile, na, and you can increase it 200%. Try to do that, na?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll ask Anjana Mataji to go ahead. We'll come back to you. Yes, Anjana Mataji, go ahead.
When one thus criticizes a pure devotee, he commits an offense, Vaishnava Aprada. That is very obstructive and dangerous for those who desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. A person cannot derive any spiritual benefit when he offends the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. Everyone should therefore be very careful not to be jealous or an empowered Vaishnava or Shuddha Vaishnava. It is also an offense to consider an empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action, it is offensive to try to give him advice or to correct him. One can distinguish between a neophyte Vaishnava and an advanced Vaishnava by their activities. The advanced Vaishnava is always situated as the spiritual master, and the neophyte is always considered his disciple. The spiritual master must not be subjected to the advice. Mataji.
Okay, nobody is having their own book. I can see that. Okay, go ahead.
The advice of a disciple, nor should a spiritual master be obliged to take instruction. Hare Krishna, scroll it, Mataji, little bit.
From those?
Instruction from those who are not his disciples. This is the sum and substance of Srila Rupa Goswami's advice in the 6th verse. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Very beautifully summarized. The entire summary of the 6th verse is given by Prabhupada in the last paragraph. Right? What are the 3-4 points that we can quickly recollect here? One is if one is a Madhyamadhikari, one should distinguish between a Uttamadhikari, a Madhyamadhikari, and a Kanishthadhikari, so as to give respect to each one of the devotees according to their level. But second one should never consider an empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action. One should not try to give him advice. Right? When we know a senior devotee, when you know that somebody is senior to us, we can offer suggestions, right, for their perusal, but we should not expect them to follow our advice, right? That's the second thing. Third one, an advanced Vaishnava is always situated in a superior position, like that of a spiritual master. He should not be subject to the advice. He should not be obliged to take the instructions from those who are his disciples and those who are not his disciples also, right? We should not look at a Vaishnava from his external perspective. A Vaishnava is measured by how much advancement a person is made in Krishna consciousness, and if we are not at that level to determine how much advanced a person is, we should just simply offer obeisances and respects to all the Vaishnavas, right? Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in one occasion he told, anyone who chants the name of Krishna is a Vaishnava. Another occasion he told that anyone who makes another person reminds of Krishna, such a person is a Vaishnava. Another person he told that anyone who chants the name of Krishna even once, he is a Vaishnava, right? So if to not err, or to be on the side of caution, what we should do, we should offer respects to all the people. Respect is something you need to offer to all the jivas, all the living entities, not cause any trouble to any living entity, right? Just engage in the service of the Lord, and we should be only careful in one regard: whose association are we taking? Right? It is always respect everybody, but take only few people's association and be accountable to one or two. Right? Otherwise, if we take association of many people, we'll get confused whom we should follow, what we should do under specific circumstances like that. Okay? Hare Krishna. Just 1 second. We'll move to now on to a nectar of instruction, verse number 7. Okay. NOI verse number 7. Syat, okay, where is it? Let me share my screen. Let's quickly go to verse number 7. We have another 5-6 minutes. Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya Pittopataptarasanasya Narochikanu Kindvadarat Anudinam Kalu Saiva Jushta Swadvikramad Bhavati Tadgadamula Hantri. Okay, who'll read? Rohini Mataji. Okay, Nagavani Mataji, are you ready with the book or with the Veda base? Okay, let's start with Rohini Mataji. You come back, Mataji. Yes.
I have opened Vedabase, Mataji. Which chapter you?
Yeah, go ahead, Rohini Mataji.
Synonyms: Syat is Krishna of Lord Krishna, Nama the holy name, Charitadi character, pastimes and so forth, Sita sugar candy, Api although, Avidya of ignorance, Pitta by the bile, Upatapta afflicted, Rasanasya of the tongue, Na not, Rochika palatable, No oh how wonderful it is, Kintu but, Adarat carefully, Anudinam, every day or 24 hours daily. Khalu, naturally. Sa, that. Sugar candy of the holy name. Eva, certainly. Justa, taken or chanted. Swadli, relishable. Kramat, gradually. Bhavati, becomes. Tad-gada, of that disease. Moola, of the root. Hantri, the destroyer. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The holy name, character, pastimes and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. Purport. The holy name of Lord Krishna, his quality, pastimes, and so forth are all the nature of absolute truth, beauty, and bliss. Naturally, shall I go ahead?
Yeah. Go ahead. Naturally, they are all very sweet.
Yeah, naturally they are very sweet like sugar candy, which appeals to everyone. Nescience, however, is compared to the disease like jaundice, which is caused by bilious secretions. Attacked by jaundice, the tongue of a diseased person cannot palatably relish sugar candy. Rather, a person with jaundice considers something sweet to taste very bitter. Avidya, ignorance, similarly perverts the ability to relish the transcendently palatable name, quality, form, and pastimes of Krishna. Despite this disease, if one with great care and attention takes to Krishna consciousness, chanting the holy name and hearing Krishna's transcendental pastimes, his ignorance will be destroyed and his tongue unable to taste the sweetness of transcendental nature of Krishna and his paraphernalia. Such a recovery of spiritual health is possible only by the regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness. When a man in the material...
Thank you, Mataji. We'll just quickly discuss this. Okay, so Nagavani Mataji, we are on verse number 7 of Nectar of Instruction, right? You want to open it? Okay, so Jivera Swarupa hai Krishnera Nitya Das, right? What is the position, right? Sat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitat Avidya. Avidya means ignorance, right? Charita Adi means Nama Rupa Guna Lila, everything of the Lord. Adi means all the other things. Starting with Krishna Nama. So Nama Rupa Guna Lila. All of this, right? Sitapi avidya. Sitapi means what is that? Sugar candy, or is also called as sugar cane juice, right? That is palatable, right? That sugar cane juice is very, very tasty, actually, right? But when one has this jaundice, when one is suffering from jaundice, he cannot taste the sugarcane juice. Then he feels, oh my God, why do I have to eat this, taste this kadwa juice? Right? But somebody is relishing the sugarcane juice. Aha, it's so wonderful, it's so tasty, it's so delicious, isn't it? Similarly, those who are pure devotees of the Lord are tasting the holy names of the Lord like a normal, healthy person is tasting and enjoying sugarcane juice. But those of us who are afflicted with material disease, what we think, oh my God, how can people chant this holy name? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Okay, like that we chant 16 rounds, ho gaya hai kya, aisa chant karte hain, right? But at least we are chanting. Just like the sugar, he does not have taste for sugarcane juice, yet he's taking the sugarcane juice. At least, even we don't have taste in chanting, at least we are chanting. Krishna is recognizing our effort, right? We need more effort, right? Because we're not relishing. It is nice to drink more and more sugarcane juice, right? Because it's tasty. But we don't have taste in chanting Hare Krishna, yet we are chanting. And Krishna is recognizing our endeavor. Krishna is recognizing our effort. So in this way, when we chant Anudinam every day, right, 24 hours daily, when we continue to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then Swadvi, Kramat. Swadvi means it becomes relishable. Kramat means slowly, gradually, right? Just like when the disease of jaundice is removed by the drinking of sugarcane juice so much that one gets taste for sugarcane juice. Similarly, although we are suffering from the disease of material existence, we don't have taste in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If we continue to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 24 hours a day, irrespective of whether we have taste, whether we want to chant or not, then when we are relieved of this desire, of this disease of material existence, then what happens? We will get this desire to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then we will want hundreds and thousands of ears and mouths to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So what is the formula to get the taste in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra more and more. That is the formula. Okay, and then when we move forward, Prabhupada is actually talking in the purport about how one should not be led by blind people, right? If a blind people and a blind person and a deaf person, right? They can walk together and they will reach a desired destination, provided the blind person is able to hear properly, and then the deaf person he knows that he will guide the person. Okay, you walk straight, walk left, walk right, and then the blind person holds the deaf person's hand and he's directing the blind person to walk. In this way, there can be a proper amalgamation of cultures, right? Prabhupada says meeting of the East and the West. The West has got a lot of money. Our India has got a lot of culture. So in this way, what happens by the amalgamation of both? Then what happens? People can go to their desired destination, right? For that, what we should avoid? We should avoid durashraya, right? We should not take the association of wrong people. If we take the association of wrong people, then we will not be taking the right kind of medicine, isn't it? Okay, let's go ahead. Rohi Mataji, continue.
When a man in the material world takes more interest in the materialistic way of life than in Krishna consciousness, he is considered to be a diseased condition. The normal condition is to remain an eternal servant of the Lord. Jivera Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nityadas. This healthy condition is lost when the living entity forgets Krishna due to being attracted by the external features of Krishna's Maya energy. This world of Maya is called Durashraya, which means false or bad shelter. One who puts his faith in Durashraya becomes a candidate for hoping against hope. In the material world, everyone is trying to become happy, and although their material attempts are baffled in every way due to their nescience, they cannot understand their mistakes. People try to rectify one mistake by making another mistake. This is the way of the struggle for existence in the material world. If one in this condition is advised to take to Krishna consciousness and be happy, he does not accept such instructions. This Krishna consciousness movement is being spread all over the world just to remedy this gross ignorance. People in general are misled by blind leaders. The leaders of human society, the politicians, philosophers, and scientists are blind because they are not Krishna conscious. According to Bhagavad Gita, because they are bereft of all factual knowledge due to their atheistic way of life, they are actually sinful rascals and are the lowest among men. Namam
Go ahead. Namam dushkritino moodaah prapadyante naradamaah mayaya vrta jnana asuram bhavamashritaah.
Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 7.15. Such people.
Yeah. So here the knowledge is given by Krishna to everybody equally, right? Just like the sunshine is available for everybody equally, Krishna also gives his knowledge equally to everybody, right? But it depends on what kind of glasses we are wearing. The other day we spoke about how when one is wearing a yellow glass, he sees everything yellow, right? There may be green grass, there may be a blue color object, yeah, which is all there. But then what does he see? He sees everything yellow because he's wearing yellow glasses. He's seeing the vegetation also yellow. He's seeing the crow also yellow in color. Similarly, Krishna has given us this gyan of Bhagavad Gita, right? Studying this Bhagavad Gita with an open mind under the guidance of a pure devotee of the Lord, under the guidance of our spiritual masters, what happens? Our ignorance will definitely be removed. But then if we are wearing the wrong glass, or if we are taking the instructions from a wrong person, then what happens? We will be misguided accordingly. As simple as that. All right. Okay, Nagamani Mataji, you have it ready. I guess such people never surrender to Krishna. Go ahead quickly.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam.
Dandavats Mataji.
From where, Mataji?
Such people never surrender to Krishna.
Yeah. Such people, Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam to all. Such people never surrender to Krishna, and they oppose the endeavor of those who wish to take Krishna's shelter. When such atheist become atheist become leaders of society, the entire atmosphere is surcharged with the nuisance. In such conditions, people do not become very enthusiastic to receive this Krishna consciousness. Movement. Just as a diseased person suffering from jaundice does not relish the taste of sugar candy. However, one must know that for jaundice, sugar candy is the only specific medicine. Similarly, in the present confused state of humanity, Krishna consciousness, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama.
Hare Hare is the
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah. Krishna consciousness may not be very palatable for a deceased person. Srila Rupa Goswami,
nonetheless
advises that if one wants to be cured of the material disease, he must
take to it
with great care and attention. One begins his treatment by chanting the holy holy Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because by chanting this holy name of the Lord, a person in the material condition will be relieved from all misconceptions. Cheto darpana marjanam, avidya, a misconception about one's spiritual identity, provides the foundation of ahankara or false ego within the heart.
Thank you so much, Haribol. Thank you, Nagmani Mataji. Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for opening the book and reading. I'm sorry, but it was difficult to enhance it more. Otherwise, the screen will have to move it every second. It's already in 150% font. So I'm grateful to you. Thank you so much. So here, what we discussed is what is mentioned by Prabhupada also. Right? What is it? The Krishna consciousness is not very palatable for a diseased person who is suffering from the disease of material existence. However, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only cure. And how does this mantra work? Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it cures the disease of the heart by doing it, because it does the process of Cheto Darpana Marjanam. That means cleansing the dust that is accumulated in the mirror of the heart. So in this way, this process of cleansing of the heart happens by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then what happens? Avidya. That means ignorance that is there in the heart, because which is the foundation for ahankar, right? Why do we think that I should also enjoy like the Lord? Why the Lord only should enjoy, I should also enjoy? That is because we are ignorant of our own constitutional position as a servant of the Lord. A servant is always to serve the master. Right? A very beautiful example given of a driver and the master, right? The master is sitting in the the passenger seat, and the driver is driving the car, right? So whatever the benefits, right? For example, there can be AC in the car, there can be nice soft music being played in the car. Whatever the passenger or the master is enjoying, the driver is also enjoying, right? While he's driving the car, it's not that the master will turn the AC, that only this portion of the car the AC will come, right? Similarly, if you are attuned to serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we will also get all those benefits. The Lord is so benevolent. We will also get the benefits of all that the Lord is enjoying, provided we have the attitude of service to the Lord. Just like the driver will get the AC, will get the benefit of the soft, nice music, as long as he's listening to the master. The master is saying, okay, go here, go to that provision store, let's buy some provision, now let's go home. Whatever the master says, if he drives him there, then he's employed as a driver, he gets all the benefits of being in the same car as that of the master. However, he says, no, I will go to my house, I will not follow your instructions. Why I should follow your instructions? I will go wherever I want. What the master will say, okay, you get down, you take a rig and you go wherever you want. And then it's frustrated, in sunlight, he's not getting an auto, he's walking in the hot sun, there is no more nice music, and he's getting frustrated. And then he'll think, okay, next time I meet my master, I will apologize to him and tell him, please take me again as your driver. I will listen to whatever you are saying. We are all in that situation. We are getting frustrated because we've told the Lord, why only you should enjoy? I will also enjoy. And the Lord said, okay, go to the material world, happily enjoy. And we are also frustrated in the hot sun, in this material world, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, all of those diseases. And then we are praying to the Lord, oh Lord, by some foolishness, I've decided to enjoy independent of you. I am suffering very badly. Now I'm engaging in the process of devotional service. Kindly forgive me, right? What is that verse? Kripaya tava pada pankaja stitha dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. Oh Krishna, please pick me up. I've fallen down into this ocean of material existence. Kindly pick me up and place me as an atom at your divine lotus feet. So that is the position, that is the place where we can be eternally happy in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so with that, we will end our NOI session today. A couple of 2-3 more paragraphs are there. We will continue tomorrow. Tomorrow we will finish complete NOI 7. And then 8, 9, 10 and 11. They are all very, very esoteric, right? Talking about the glories of Radha Kund, etc. Not much of discussion will be involved there. We will just read what Prabhupada has given. And in this way, we will complete 9, 10, 11, probably in this week. And then next week, we will start with our most auspicious book, which is the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya by His Divine Grace Avai Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nectar of Instruction ki jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So quickly, devotees can switch on your cameras, and then we'll do 2 minutes of Harinam Sankirtan, and then we will end our session at 2:08. Okay, Hare Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatyaadi Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Radha Madhav Jai Shri Radha Madhav Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Jai Jagannath Jai Baladev Jai Subhadra Jaya Sudarshan Jaya Prabhupada Gurudev Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय कलियुग पतित पावन हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल Hare Krishna. All right, so I can see a lot of divine transcendental faces. Rohini Mataji, Sridhar Prabhu, Munimala Mataji, Karpavali Mataji, Sarvagopeshwari Mataji, Sindhu Mataji, Anjana Mataji, Mala Mataji, Vishamanu Kanya Mataji, Vanamali Prabhu, Raki Asrani Mataji, and all the devotees who joined in today. Thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. If anyone has any doubts, queries, or want to share any realizations, of course, Shobha Mataji is giving us transcendental darshan. How can we miss her? Hare Krishna. Thank you. So, Bruce is saying, yeah, anyone has any query or want to share any realizations, then you may do so. Right now, you can raise hands. Otherwise, we will meet tomorrow for Brahma Muhurta chanting at 5 o'clock. And then again at 12:30 p.m. where we will try to complete NOI 7th verse, and we'll continue with our Bhagavad Gita chapter number 4. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Karpagavali Mataji, go ahead.
Mataji, Ekadasi, here they are saying 6th, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, Mataji?
Day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow, okay.
So,
yes,
yeah,
okay.
we'll be actually studying about Radha Kund. On that day, we will read NOI. We'll almost be in the 8th or 9th verse, glories of Radha Kund. All right. So, thank you very much. We will do in 108 verses. I think we have to do chapter 8. That's also very wonderful. We're going to talk about the appearance of Lord Krishna. And then we will also link it with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then we will do a celebration on Ekadashi. So, Ekadashi will be 1.5 hours to 2 hours session. So, kindly keep yourselves free. We will do it in the morning itself. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. And please join that group where we are giving specific tasks from 7th of March till 25th of March for special tasks for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Please join the group. Thank you. Hare Krishna.